Hello, viewers. This is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. Thank you for contacting me, I think, about the Mueller report. I got plenty of prods wanting me to come on and read. So I couldn't do that straight away, so I sent out a little bit of I guess a post on the various channels giving you what my impressions were. Now, I'll go back to my readings, I think, a couple of days ago. I said that we would be hearing more about Trump and Russia in April, and I do believe that will be the case. Now, I'm going to go to this word collusion. Collusion was in the original terms of reference for the investigation. It's not a it's not a charge under the your statute of law, as I understand it. The word is conspiracy. Now, Mueller has found that there is no proven conspiracy. However, he's not saying there's no collusion. So if you look back to, I'm putting my analytical head on here before we start the intuitive stuff. If you look back to what Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani have been doing all along, they've been saying no collusion, no collusion. Yet we already know that there has been collusion. So collusion in its truest sense was Donald Trump Jr. and Jared Kushner and others, Manafort, meeting in Trump Tower with the Russians, the various meetings with Russian ambassadors and others that are already in the public domain. Does that fit our definition of collusion? Okay, so there's that, and we'll be hearing more about that, and it will become a political process. Up to you, the voters, up to you, the citizens of the US, up to your Congress, to decide whether all of these things were appropriate for a sitting president and the campaign team and others to be doing. Okay, so it will come back to the Congress. Now, secondly, a couple of days ago in that reading, I was very strongly drawn to the obstruction of justice. Mueller hasn't exonerated Trump on this matter at all. Not at all. Now, I also said the Mueller report will provoke a lot of discussions about how a president such as Donald Trump could come into this position. How could it get to this? Now, I watched a clip, I think it was on MSNBC, with Peter Buttigieg, who was actually saying this. Now, he is, thank you viewers, he's a Rhodes Scholar, and he was actually talking about, more importantly, beyond Mueller's report, we need to look at how this has occurred. How is someone, a businessman like Donald Trump with ties to foreign governments, how has he ended up, how has he wound up the President of the United States with such clear conflicts of interest? So again, we have Mayor Pete coming forward here, drawing out the really important information. So I also said expect gloating this week, and that's what you're getting. I'm getting it via this channel. I'm getting the trolling. I'm getting, wake up, blah, 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 you snowflakes, get over it, Trump's this and that, all of that to be expected. We're getting Trump himself gloating, but I really do feel that he needs to be very careful right now. Now, on the other side of the coin, we've got Congress. Congress now, the House coming forward. Barr is going to be, Nadler is going to subpoena Barr. Now, what he's saying is after 2 years of work for a Republican Attorney General to come out with a however many page summary is just not appropriate. And so the real question here is, can we get a look at the Mueller report? Now, I'm going to go through a series of questions here. Will the House obtain the full report? Did Barr spin this? Was his summary really what amounted to a PR exercise, which is what my feeling is? However, he stayed within the law, and that's what I felt he would do. Unfortunately, the law, as we know, can often be an ass. So did Barr spin this? Was his summary a PR exercise? Will we see the full report? Does Mueller know what he's doing? Yes, he does. He absolutely does. We'll read on it. But what he did was he farmed out I'm feeling very strongly around Trump's business, as has always come up, the money trail. He farmed that out to various districts, and those investigations are ongoing. So how anyone can say that Trump will get off scot-free is beyond me. Okay, so there's that. He's also in the way, and we haven't seen the full report, but already the truth is coming forward. He's already provoking some commentary around how the Republicans are dealing with this. Why, from Peter Buttigieg, the bigger questions about how someone like Donald Trump, who actually can't be exonerated from obstruction of justice, who's lied on multiple occasions regarding collusion. I'm going to use the word collusion with the Russians via the Trump Tower meeting. We know all that backstory. How someone like that could become the president. What do we need? What do you need to do going forward to stop a repeat of this ever happening again? So all of that in a few hours, if you really take the time to start to digest this and think about it, you start to see the implications of what is going on. Now, that's before the media has, CNN in particular, has a chance to jump on the bandwagon. Of course, everyone's first with the news, Mueller, exonerates Trump, which is so blatantly incorrect. How do we know that? We haven't seen the report. What the headline should have been is, and in some cases it was, Trump's Attorney General, William Barr, who has a history of Iran-Contra, etc., has put forward a, whatever it was, 4-page summary of Mueller's 2-year investigation. I mean, that really should have been the headline. But anyway, let's get stuck into these questions. All right. Well, let me just center myself. In fact, I'll just put on something here, some essences. Okay. And it's really important when you're reading. I mean, you have to kick yourself up to a higher vibration. So I was using my analytical skills there. I've done a little bit around the law, Australian law, which differs obviously from American law. But I've done a fair bit of analysis as well in my career. So I need to put that part of my brain aside, and let's go to the intuitive side. All right. Okay. Let's start with Will. I'm feeling we should start with, did Barr spin this? Was his summary a PR exercise? Did he find the best way forward, according to the law, to spin this, to come down on the side of the president? Was he playing both ends against the middle? All of these things, but staying within the law. Did he spin this for Donald Trump and the Republican Party? Did Barr spin this for Donald Trump and the Republican Party? All right, so here we've got my card for Mueller. I'll bring the laptop down. My card for Mueller and loss. Okay, so this is the Mueller report, and this is loss and heartbreak around it. This is what we're seeing happening at the moment. But I want to caution you, I want to ask you to hold firm. The basis of this reading is the Queen of Pentacles, and I'm feeling this is the Congress, but I'm also feeling these are the other the other investigations by female attorney generals and prosecutors in other districts, and it doesn't even have to be female. What this is saying here is the stability and the security is going to come via those other investigations, which is what I predicted a couple of days ago. And this is really showing just how clever Mueller has been. I do feel also this is the Congress. Could well be Pelosi. So there are these stopgaps, accountabilities. In some ways, with the Mueller report, if we didn't expect to be sidelined by the Republicans, knowing their track history over the last couple of years, then I guess we were a bit naive. However, Mueller has done things in such a way as to that these investigations are not going away. The Queen of Wands here, I'm feeling again, is the election, because this is my card. This is the midterm election. This is going in the back in the past. Did Barr spin this? Okay, so he's going to be prevented so far by those things. We've got the ending card here, the death indeed. Now, I think at some point Barr also comes out. I think I've said in one of my readings that he's in a no-win situation, and I do feel that's the case. That even though he's obviously spun this, although we'll wait till the outcome of these cards, this is a PR exercise. It's not a reflection of the entirety of the Mueller report. I do feel that he's going to be remembered very, very badly in history. And he's going to be disappointed as well. And this is also our disappointment. We thought that the Mueller report would be the ending of Donald Trump, but I haven't asked that question yet. We've got balance here and negotiation. This is what I feel. This is Barr coming before the Congress. He's going to have to defend himself, and we'll get a clearer look at Barr in the light of day then. The Knight of Pentacles. Barr was always conflicted between his loyalty to his own party and upholding the law. He will always uphold the law, but where he can, he will protect the Republican Party. I do feel that there is more in that report around the money here, around potential conflicts of interest between, and I think when we go to collusion, I think this is what we're going to see. Now, I couldn't even watch an interview with Ted Cruz, who said, no, it wasn't Ted Cruz, it was Joe Scarborough, who actually came out and said that basically that Trump's money is the big thing here, that they lied because of his greed. And you can go and have a look at that interview. So we've got here the hopes and the fears. Now, this is in relation to Barr spinning it. I'm not going to say cover up, but you could go that far. My impressions are that spinning it is an attempt. PR is an attempt to cover up the actual more damning information in that report. That's the Magician card in the hopes and fears. So I do feel he was acting on behalf of the Republican Party and this president in the way that he put forward that summary. Now, luxury, the card of the Trumps, if you like, the card of the wealthy. And this is indeed what was all designed to do: protect the wealthy, protect the moneyed interests. Okay, now we're not saying Barr didn't act within the law. What we're saying is that he selectively pulled out information and presented it in the best possible light, because he's a Republican Attorney General. All right. Will the House obtain the full report? Let's just cut the cards, shuffle them. This is what I would like to get a look at. The full Mueller report. Will the House obtain the full Mueller report? I feel that they're going to struggle now to do that. Will the House obtain the full Mueller report? It's going to be a battle. Yeah, they're going to be juggling. They're going to be juggling obstruction from the White House and others, and potentially William Barr himself. And they're going to have to, this is also the card of manipulation. They're challenged by the devil himself. It's easy to feel crestfallen when you start to see these cards. Will the House obtain the full report? However, my experience over the last 2 years with the Trump government is that it's always been the case. It has always been the case. However, we haven't got to the final question yet, have we? Will Mueller's report lead to Trump's downfall? Now, when I say Mueller's report, you have to start to think laterally here. Mueller's report and all its offshoots, okay? So it's not just this one document. Although everything is contained in there, it's also these other investigations. Will the House obtain the report? They're going to struggle, but this is a good card. This is new beginnings. And we've got, they're going to be obstructed by the Magician, which of course came up in the last reading on Barr, the Magician. Now I want to make it clear here, Barr's not breaking the law that we can see, but he is acting in the best interests of his own party. Now this is the Seven of Swords here, theft, betrayal, someone trying to get away with something. That is already occurring in the select information that was brought forward from Mueller's report. Let me be clear, the information that Barr presented in his 2 4-page summary was selected in order to hand the president a public relations victory. Here we are with the smug merchant. And this is why I caution you to keep a clear head, because these are the things that are going to trigger you. All of this is going to trigger you. This, it's all going to trigger you. However, what we've got here, will the Congress be able to obtain the full report? This is giving and receiving help. This is loans and debts, the 6 of Pentacles. This is showing that they've got a good chance, that they may be able to get the full report, but it probably will be heavily redacted. They may be able to, the Page of Cups is something not full, but it's an offer of something. So it's not going to be easy. They're going to be obstructed. But it could be something like subpoenaing Mueller himself. We know they're subpoenaing Barr. It could be a heavily redacted version. I'm sorry, but they're going to struggle. It's the 10 of Wands here. They're going to struggle. This is a Republican president. This is a Senate that's dominated by the Republicans. Thank God you've got the House. However, there's victory there. So that reading is quite clear. It's going to be a struggle, but they're going to get enough. That's what this reading is telling me. Gosh, what a horrible situation. But you have to. Our politics has been corrupt for a long time, since time immemorial, really. Since the first, chiefs of the village started, getting the farmers to give them more grain in return for keeping the soldiers, at bay or whatever. The nature of politics is corrupt. The nature of politics, division and wanting to win, is corrupt. And so this is what you're seeing in glaring detail, unfortunately. All right. Okay, does Mueller know what he's doing? That's what we need to know. Does Mueller know? Yes, he does. Does Mueller know what he's doing? Absolutely. If you thought this was going to be a little walk in the park and a little visit to the parlour and a sit down for a latte on a Sunday, you're wrong. Okay, it's never going to be like that. All right, does Mueller know what he's doing? I'm just getting a really strong yes, yes, yes. And the proof's already there if you look hard enough. Does Mueller know what he's doing? I'm just sorry that it has to be like this. Okay, the Three of Wands. This is again the overseas expansion. It's to do with the foreign government. This is to do with Russia. What now? Okay, that's interesting. This is to do with Russia. Trump, the businessman's, the smug merchant's ties with Russia. Expansion, commerce. Interesting cards to come up here. Trump the businessman. He's gone after Trump the businessman, okay? Not so much Trump the campaigner or Trump the president, although those offshoots are going there as well. But at the heart of Mueller's work is Trump the businessman. I'd like to fast forward in 2 years and for you to go back and have a look at this reading and understand, because I feel sure that in the end we haven't got to the question, will the Mueller report and its offshoot investigations lead to Trump's downfall? But this is all suggesting that we follow the money. In the past, we've got restriction, which is an interesting card. I did raise the possibility, or my impressions of, that Mueller might have been pressured to finish up, and or that this again Barr's summary in some way is a restriction of the entirety of the matter. I do feel that is the case. Does Mueller know what he's doing? The Tower card. Okay, this is again what is hanging all over this. Yeah, okay. If you look at these cards, let's go a little bit deeper here. If you look at this here, we can read it in a couple of ways. We can read it in one way to show that he is eventually designed, or he has designed things to eventually take down the president. Here we've got the Tower, we've got the president, we've got the smug merchant, we've got Russian and other business with foreign entities. We've also got that he may have been restricted, possibly, my impressions, restricted in the past. But I also feel that there's another layer here, and this is around Mueller understanding the way that things were going to pan out in advance. And again, there is a protective thing here, that to do things in another way could have caused widespread. Now, you've got, I know you want me to keep going with the reading, and I will, but you've got Trump's supporters being vile today. Vile. So imagine if things hadn't have been done correctly. If, well, it could never be the case because Barr was always Trump's Attorney General. But I'm wondering about those indictments there, and I'm wondering what else is there for Don Jr. and those others. I'm feeling that the lying to Congress will play out, and that if these people think that they're off scot-free, they should think again. Because the sword of truth here. Did Mueller know what he was doing? The Ace of Swords. This is going to give new starts, new clarity to situations. This is directly linking with the downfall. But I haven't got to that question yet. Okay, so the focus of the situation is how we're feeling now, the Three of Swords. I'm also getting a pull on Trump's children here as well. And I'm getting the handoff of the offshoots. I'm just going to call them the offshoots of the Mueller report, the offshoot investigations. Okay, here we've got the money. Okay, whatever he's found out, whatever's in that report, it has a direct bearing on Trump the businessman. Yep, here's Trump the businessman here. Does Mueller know what he's doing? I feel that there is both security and insecurity. This is in the hopes and fears position of this reading. Security, a false sense of security for Trump, but also insecurity here for Trump. I don't, whatever he's presenting publicly, interestingly, he didn't tweet for over a day, very unlike him. And when he did, he came up with benign tweets around keep America great or whatever it was again. He's not coming out punching, which shows me not, when I say punching, is not, he's not accusing the Mueller of wrongdoing or, so I do feel that there is a false sense of security for Trump, but also an insecurity as well, because I feel that he knows these offshoots. There is a wider perspective here for Trump, and the Five of Cups here is loss, and it is loss around Trump's business as well. So I do feel that Mueller knew exactly what he was doing in the way that he's done it. Okay, now I'm going to ask, will the Mueller report and its offshoot investigations lead to the downfall of Donald Trump? And really, I have compassion for you if you're done with all of this, and I'd suggest you close down your screens and have a rest. Okay, if you think this is all too much, have a rest. Have a rest. I do, as I said, I've got compassion for anyone that's feeling like that today. But don't make it worse for yourself by looking at the news. Take a spell off and then come back when you're feeling stronger. Because what the media cycle, I'll just explain that, what the media cycle will do. At first, and it's also those journalists that aren't very balanced or sensible or responsible in their approaches. They will take the headline out of something without the subsequent analysis. They will go very quickly without a measured analysis. And so you're seeing a bit of that from some of the media outlets. If you take a break and come back even in 24 hours and look at those reports, you will start to see the analysis and the response coming, and you will start to see the issues very, very clearly. Right now you can't. And I guess that's why I'm here responding to your request for a reading, because I understand that there is a degree of panic out there. All right. I'm just going to give these another shuffle because this is an important question. Right. Will the Mueller report and its offshoot investigations take down Trump? Will the Mueller report and its offshoot investigations take down Trump? Okay, so we've got the government here. Okay, so I feel that this is the Hierophant. This is around Congress. This is around the various district attorneys generals. This is around the law. And we've got the Four of Wands here, which is so often comes up as a card here, which is celebrations. Now, that is a good thing to come with this card, because it also shows me that Trump will be challenged as well by really the news that is likely to eventually be coming out. Someone even wrote to me and said, I don't think they said I did, but other psychics have said there'll be celebrations in the street. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say eventually there probably will be. All right, there's going to be Five of Cups here. There's going to be loss here. Loss, heartache, loss of money eventually. Now the Knight of Cups here coming forward with some kind of proposal. I do feel this is Mueller's covenant to the people of America. He should be above reproach, really. But I do feel that he was really battle weary by the time that he got to the end of his investigation. And I'm getting very strongly the pressures that he was under, that he was pressured. He was pressured by this government, he was attacked by this government, and this is how he felt at the end of his investigations. He was also challenged, I guess, by the dirty tricksters, the Republicans. But it's also my impression here too that he employed every bit of, I guess, experience and knowledge that he had at his disposal to set things up in a way that would eventually see that justice was done. He was juggling also, but this is also the manipulation of the Republicans. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, as I said, a walk in the park or a trip to the, cup of tea in the parlour or a latte on Sunday. It's not going to be easy. And if you expect that it will be, then I would suggest that you're setting yourself up for disappointment. The atmosphere around, again, is the Nine of Swords. I do feel this is how everybody's feeling. Sleepless nights. Indeed, I'm getting a few of those as well. Sleepless nights. It's also for Trump too. Hopes and fears. Trump's downfall. That's what we hope for, and that's what Trump fears. Judgment. Judgment for Trump. Will the Mueller report lead to Trump's downfall? Judgment for Trump. The Knight of Swords, truth coming. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there because I need to push on as well, as everybody else does need to. A couple of key cards here. The government, the law, eventually Trump's downfall, celebrations in the streets, a battle-weary Mueller. The foundation of the reading is loss for Trump. I do feel in some way it's also Mueller has lost, I don't know how old he is, but I think he's a fair innings, as we say in Australia, and this has been clearly very hard on him. So, last three messages from Spirit. Let me cut the deck and shuffle. Last three messages. Yeah. I go back to my last paragraph in my community post, and that is the pathway to truth has always been obscured by this president, but persistence and courage and will see it through to the end. You're not there yet, but you will be. You will be to the end of this presidency. And I'm feeling it will be this year. Last three messages. Okay, support. Understand there is enough support here to remove this president. And there are very good reasons why he should be removed, but not just that, why the whole of DC should be cleaned up, why the whole of politics across the world needs to be cleaned up. Okay? The Nine of Pentacles. And I do feel that Trump will be in retreat. This is the Four of Swords. Okay, this is someone who's mortally wounded in battle. So, I'm going to leave it there, take 24 hours off, come back tomorrow and have a look at the coverage there, particularly look for the good full analysis and also understand that the Democrats are going to have to battle to get this full report, but it does show that there is a victory for them in the end. Mueller knew exactly what he was doing. His report and its offshoot investigations will eventually lead to the downfall of Donald Trump.